She told me, I think we should just be friends after accepting all the expensive meals. And a gift I gave her for 6 months. So I showed her the consequences of treating me like a free servant. 2 days later, she was crying and begging me. I will never forget those words. I think we should just be friends. When I heard them, it felt like my heart was being squeezed. 6 months. For 6 months, I paid for every meal, bought her gifts, took her to the movies, fused over every 10 little detail to make her happy. And this is the answer. Friends, just friends after she drained everything I had to offer with no commitment in return. I looked around the room at the gift boxes and dinner receipts. They all reminded me I had been used. She texted constantly, sometimes sweet and intimate, sometimes sometimes cool and distance. And I kept getting pulled into that game, always hoping that one day she would return my feeling or meal. But things are different now. I am done being patient. This time I won't let myself be taken advantage of. She will have to face the consequence of treating me like a free provider for the past 6 months. From the very first time we met, she left a strong impression on me. She was not just beautiful, she was funny, charming, and knew exactly how to keep a conversation flying. Those first messages made me feel instantly connected. We texted all day long. Every story I shared was met with her warm replies, cute images, or playful jokes that made me laugh non-stop. But there was something strange about her. She was always hot and cold. One day she would be affectionate, texting constantly, sharing bits of her daily life, asking about my work and health, even saying things like, "You are always so caring. I'm really lucky to have you." I started to believe this relationship had potential, that she truly cared. Then the next day, she would turn distant, short replies, sometimes ignoring my message altogether. I didn't understand, but I stayed patient, thinking maybe she was busy or needed some space. That mix of warmth and coolness kept me both hopeful and anxious, and before I knew it, I was hooked. Over the next 6 months, I did everything I could to make her happy. I took her to her favorite restaurants, bought her gifts she would casually mention wanting, booked movie tickets for films she was excited about. Every time we met, she was sweet, smiling, holding my hand, brushing my shoulder, and I truly believed we were moving towards something real. But whenever I tried to confess my feelings to tell her I wanted something serious, she would pull back. I'm not ready yet. I just need some time, she'd say. Those words cut deep, yet her efficient gestures and kind message that flowed always pulled me back in. One moment she would tell me I was special, and the next she would remind me we were just friends. She kept feeding my hope. Some days she would send selfies with that radiant smile along with message like, "You will never know how much I love feeling like this when you are around." Or when we went to the movies, she would whisper, "You are so thoughtful. I'm really lucky." Words like that made me believe that one day she would finally return my feelings. Slowly, I realized I was pouring in all my money, time, and energy. Yet, stuck in a one sided relationship, I ignored every sign that she was keeping her distance because, in those brief moments of intimacy, she made me forget all my doubts. But over time, the exhaustion grew. I began to wonder if I truly mattered to her or if I was just someone she could lean on. Someone who gave gifts, paid for meals, and asked for nothing in return. 6 months went by, the affection continued, but those words, "we are just friends," had haunted me constantly. And just when I thought things might finally change, she sent the message I will never forget. "I think we should just be friends." One Saturday afternoon, I decided to take a walk through the neighborhood she often frequent. At first, it just caused curiosity, but when I saw her step out of a cafe with another guy, my heart stopped. They were laughing intimately, hand in hand, her eyes full of closeness that I had once thought belonged only to me. Everything from the past 6 months fished before me. The dinners I paid for, the gift she received, the movie tickets I bought to make her happy, and all the sweet intimate message on my phone. I stood there jealously flooding through me, mixed with a sense of impotence and betrayal. Part of me wanted to run up, grab her, confront her, even shout. The other part was frozen, unable to believe what I was seeing. The mix of anger and heartbreak left me breathless. Finally, I stepped forward. When she saw me, her face changed instantly. A forced smile appeared. I took a deep breath, trying to stay calm, but my voice trembled. Why am I seeing you with someone else today? So, and so you said we are just friends. So why are you? She frowned, glanced at the guy, then back at me. I think we should just be friends. You are really great, but I am not ready. These words felt like a knife straight through my heart. I looked at her, searching her eyes for any hint of sincerity. But all I found was embarrassment and unease. I felt betrayed not because of money or gifts, but because the trust and hope I had placed in her suddenly felt meaningless. But all those times you said you felt lucky, all those times you said you were happy with me, were they just words? Why were you so affectionate if you did not want more? My voice shook, half with anger, half with sorrow. She looked down, avoiding my gaze. I did not want to hurt you. I care about you, but I really just think of us as friends. Those words made me feel like I was falling into a deep abyss. 6 months, 6 months of pouring love, time, and effort, only to receive that cold answer. We're just friends. Instead, I was a mix of anger and emptiness, a sense of being used and deceived blending with fury, making me tremble while still trying to stay confused. I studied her from head to toe, recalling all the intimate moments, sweet message, shoulder touches, giggles in cafes, playful wings when receiving gifts. I realized that all those gestures now seemed like a game, giving hope only to take it back. The mix of helplessness and anger was overwhelming, but so was clarity. I understood that if I lost control, things would spiral out of hand and I would lose my agency. I took a deep breath, closed my eyes for a second, then exhaled, trying to stay calm. Her hot and cold behavior over the past 6 months. Sweet message, then cold silence, intimacy, then withdrawal, now exploded into a powerful wave of emotions, leaving me both confused and tense. I looked around the cafe, imagining all those nights she had sat across from me, hands on the table, eyes fixed on me as if to say something, while I had thought we were moving toward a serious relationship. Now those memories were bittersweet reminders that my trust had been exploded. I stood there furious but silent, no yelling, no complaining, just a man standing there, watching her tremble and stay silent, letting the moment teach me something. Not everything you give will be returned, and sometimes the sweetest action can be misunderstood or taken advantage of. Instead, I felt pain, but also clarity. I knew I would have to carefully consider my next steps, but one thing was certain. I was not going to let things end with just a we are just friends. 6 months had passed, and now I needed a way to face reality. A way that would not only express my emotions, but also preserve my self-worth and boundaries. 2 days after the said we should just be friends, we went completely silent. No message, no calls, no dinners or gifts. Even the park she had come to rely on, movie passes, streaming subscriptions, or bills I had paid. I withdrew entirely. When she opened the apps, everything showed expired or locked. For the first time, she had to take care of herself, and the helpless was written clearly across her face, but it did not stop there. I appeared publicly with my new girlfriend, happy and affectionate, laughing naturally. She stood at a distance, stunned, blushing, unsure how to react. Part of her wanted to intervene, part of her was too embarrassed to control her emotions. Months of accustomed favors, protection, and attention from me had vanished completely. Faced by emptiness and disappointment, she started texting and calling incessantly. Every message felt like a plea. Please, I'm sorry. I did not think things would turn out like this. Don't leave me. I really care about you. Please listen to me. I will make it right. I promise. I ignored everything. No replies, no answering, no acknowledgement. Every time she called, I glanced at my phone and smiled faintly, feeling her slowly realize the consequences of her actions. The climax came when I withdrew the tuition money I had paid for her to reserve her spot at school. The school immediately called her, asking if she could come. She refused, saying she was busy. But I insisted. I told them I would. 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 I told them I would informing her that payment had been completed and needed urgent attention. She panicked, blushing at her desk. Flustered and unsure what to do, all her friends and classmates saw the scan and her confidence completely collapsed. Over the next few days, she texted constantly pleading and explaining. I don't know what to do. Please let me explain. I was wrong. Please don't abandon me. I promise I will handle everything myself. Please don't ignore me. But I stayed silent. No expectation, no sign, no recognition. Every time she saw me with my new girlfriend, my smile and confident gaze reminded her that everything had changed. And this time she had completely lost control. Her feelings in those days were miserable, losing familiar privileges, losing attention, getting called by the school over tuition, seeing someone she thought would love her calmly with someone else, and finally being unable to reach or pursue me. For the first time, she faced confusion, regret, and despair, emotion she had never truly experienced before. I remained silent, observing from a distance, letting her feel it all. No scolding, no threats, just steadfast silence and complete control. What happened was not revenge, but a lesson. Don't take kindness for granted. Don't exploit others. And sometimes silence is the strongest way to show someone the consequence of their actions. A week passed. Since she had been crying, texting, and panicking over the school calling about unpaid tuition, I remained completely silent, no replies, no answering calls. I let everything unfold on its own. Every time she tried to call, I would glance at my phone and smile faintly, a calm yet powerful smile. During that time, I focused mostly on myself and my new girlfriend. We went for walks, watched movies, met friends, and enjoyed the simple moments I had previously tried to give someone else but never received in return. Whenever I appeared publicly with her, I stayed cheerful and friendly, but my gaze was steady and confused, making it clear that everything had changed and could never go back to the way it was. She was entirely different. In the first few days, she somewhat seemed lost. If her familiar privileges were gone, movie subscription cancelled, meal no longer provided, bills she had relied on how her responsibility. And on top of that, the school calling about tuition, her texts were full of pleading, apologize, and worry. Yet I stayed silent, watching her from a distance. I could see her confusion, disappointment, and sense of abandonment, all combined into a scan of misery she had never experienced before. One afternoon, I ran into her on the street. She tried to act normal, forcing a smile, but her embarrassed eyes and flushed cheeks betrayed everything. I greeted her lightly. Hi, long time no see. She stammered in reply. I just wanted to say I'm sorry. I remained calm, smiling faintly, emphasizing my words with a subtle edge. I told you if we are meant to be friends, don't lie to someone after months of eating, receiving gifts, and enjoying favors. You still have the nerve to apologize. Really, no shame at all. Her face turned red. She could not respond, only looking at me with a mix of fear and guilt. I shuddered, my gaze calm. Whether I forgive or not is my choice. But one thing is certain, I will never let myself be used again. In that moment, she realized that all her past efforts to keep me were meaningless. No more taken for granted affection, no more privilege, no more special attention, all gone replaced by my silence and my choice. From this, I learned that setting clear boundaries, protecting oneself, and maintaining control are the best way to preserve self-worth. She, despite her aggregate, could never reclaim the time, trust, or privilege she had ignored. With my new girlfriend, everything felt effortless. I did not carry the weight of the past, focused on the present, healthy relationship, and people who truly respected each other. This feelings was completely different from my previous relationship. No jealousy, no fake intimacy, no emotion ambiguity. Every smile, every word was genuine, and I could finally feel the happiness. I had a star. I had sought for those 6 months. As for her, I knew she would have to reflect on her actions. The days of beginning message, lost privileges, unpaid bills, all were expensive lessons. Not everyone realized immediately, but my silence sent a powerful message. Kindness is not be exploded, and every action carries consequences. The story ended, leaving me both satisfied and rebuilt. No resentment, no anger, just the confidence that I would no longer be used, deceived, and that I had found someone deserving of my care and affection. Looking back on those 6 months, I realized that sometimes silence, calmness, and clear boundaries are the stronger ways to teach someone a lesson. She had shown hope, taken everything without giving back, and in the end had to face the truth. Other people's kindness is not to be exploited, and each person's choices determine their ultimate outcome. Looking back at everything that happened, I realized that sometimes silence, maintaining distance, and staying firm with your boundaries are the best ways to deal with people who take advantages of your kindness. I had given her everything, meals, gift, attention, time, trusting that sincerity would be reciprocated. But she showed hope only to take it back, leaving me confused and disappointed. Her facing the consequence from unpaid bills, cancelled movie subscription, to seeing me calmly with someone else was not about revenge. I did it all to affirm my self-worth, to prevent being exploited, and to no longer feel powerless or disrespected. The feeling at that moment was strange, both satisfying and sad. Satisfying because the she finally had to confront what she had done, but sad because I realized that kindness can sometimes be abused, and not everyone truly appreciates it.